Hey everyone, it's Cody. Welcome back to another video. It's been a while since we put one of these out. I've been extremely busy, so I know I haven't been putting out as many videos as I would like to as of late, but we're back with another video. Today we're talking about the real estate market update. We're heading into spring. We're seeing a lot of changes as we go into this election year. The stock market is roaring. It's at an all-time high right now, and we're seeing a lot of positive and some negative changes to the market overall, and I want to share that here with you today. So with that said, we're going to jump in. We're going to take a look at interest rates, at prices, where homes have been over the last couple of months as we come out of the winter months, and then where they're going to be going into spring as well as going into the summer months. So with that being said, let's jump on my screen here and take a look at interest rates here today. So we're going to start off the search here. We're going to look at 30-year fixed rate mortgages. Now this is actually pretty interesting. We zoom in a little bit here. If you've seen any of my videos before, you'll know that this graph looks a little bit familiar. We are usually looking at this blue line that shows that since over the last week or so, we had interest rates that were at roughly 7% going into the end of February. They came down to about 6.8% as of last week, but have been climbing this week so far. Now, this is according to Mortgage News Daily, which kind of takes a survey of all these different brokers and lenders, banks, and gets an assessment on where the interest rates are based on what they're seeing. Now, the thing I want you to point out here is that usually, these interest rates are kind of fluctuating together, and for the most part, back here in January, December, and January, the lines were pretty close together, right? This is typically what we see, but as of lately, we're actually seeing a divergence here where Freddie Mac, which is one of the government-backed lenders, is actually going down while Mortgage News Daily is seeing rates go up. So this is actually showing a little bit of a divergence in what's happening in the private sector with different banks and lenders versus what's happening on the government level. This indicates to me that, hey, maybe the government is feeling like things are looking a little bit better than everybody else, and they're willing to offer a little bit lower interest rate on because of that. There could also be some other factors. Maybe they're just saying, hey, we need to increase demand. We need to see more activity in the market. If we bring rates down just a little bit, that'll give us what we need. There's all these different factors and variables that play into this, but it's just interesting to see that, typically these lines are kind of going together. But right here, as of the last couple of days, we've actually seen this divergence. Right here, we're at 7%. If we come over here, we're actually at 6.75% on interest rates from Freddie Mac. So those lines will probably get back closer together. But if we continue to see that divergence, we'll have to keep an eye on it because that could lead to an indication of what's happening in the mortgage market across the board. Let's take a quick look at FHA loans, jumbo loans, and VA loans. So if we zoom in here, FHA is currently sitting at about 6.5%. We've got two different surveys here, one at 6.5%. This other one here at 6.7%. It's pretty typical to see the FHA loans are going to be anywhere from about 0.25% to 0.5% lower than what you'll find on a 30-year fixed conventional mortgage. Now, taking a look at this, jumbo loans are actually quite interesting because jumbo loans are usually 0.5% to 1% higher than what you see on conventional. But right now, we're actually only seeing that they're, maybe about 0.25% higher than on a conventional loan. This means that there is confidence in these higher price points for jumbo loans, as well as from these banks who issue these jumbo loans. Typically, in all cases, the government-backed lenders do not make jumbo loans, right? That's why you've got a 30-year fixed conventional mortgage. That is going to be separate from a jumbo loan. Jumbo loans only come from private banks and private lenders. So this is very interesting to see that rates are actually not quite as wide of a range there between the conventional and the jumbo rates. Let's take a look at VA loans, and then we'll talk about what's happening here locally in our market. So VA loans right now sitting at roughly 6.5%. That's usually on par with FHA, so pretty interesting to see. We were down in the low 6% range, climbed up to about 6.75, and then now down about 6.5%. Everybody's still thinking that interest rates are going to drop going into the spring and into the summer as the economy continues to improve and inflation cools off. And I do think that will happen as well. My personal opinion is that rates are not going to drop as much as people think. If you go back and you watch my videos from 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, I've been saying this. Everybody's way too optimistic about rates dropping, and that's just not going to happen, right? Right now, even though the economy is in a good spot, the stock market is at all-time highs, the SPY, the S&P 500, NASDAQ is just doing phenomenally. That doesn't mean that your average consumer is feeling the impacts of that, right? For the average person out there, they're feeling the inflation impacts much heavier than what the stock market is reflecting. So I don't personally believe that interest rates are going to drop as much as other people. Other people are thinking that, hey, rates could get down to the low 5%, maybe even 4% by the end of the year. And frankly, I just don't see that happening. I think that we'll probably sit somewhere in the 6, maybe high 5% range. That's just my prediction, right? Take it with a grain of salt, do your own research and make your own conclusion. But that's kind of my personal assessment based on what I'm seeing and just kind of my feel from being in the market every single day. So with that said, let's jump over here and take a look at what's happening in the real estate market with prices, and then we'll talk about where prices are going into the future. As we do that, guys, if you think about making a move here to Utah, or you already live here and you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, please reach out to me. I'd love to help you. I'd love to be a resource for you and see what I can do to help you make that transition, whether you want to buy a property, sell a property, or maybe even invest in rental properties. I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. That's how I make a living for my family and myself, and I would love to be a resource for you. I've had hundreds of people from the channel reach out, and I cannot wait to hear from you as well. With that said, let's jump over here and take a look at what's happening with the real estate market. So for the month of February, I'm filming this on March 14th, so we're roughly halfway through the month of March. We've only had 796 home sales be reported for this data set. Now we're looking at Utah County, Salt Lake County, Davis County, and Weber County. This encompasses the metro market of northern Utah. And to only have 796 home sales throughout the first half of March is actually quite low, right? This is an indicator that interest rates were higher. If we come back here, looking at January, February, we saw this increase right here, which is what actually slowed down the market going into the first half of March. So we'll see if it rebounds, and we'll see if the number of sales increases. But 796, we are way behind the halfway mark that we saw in February. February, we closed out the month at 2,040 home sales for this data set. We saw a median list price at 510 with a sales price of 495. This means that on average, any given home out there is going to sell for about 3% less than what it was originally listed for. So there is still negotiation going on with homes. Days on market is still quite low, 38, 43, 37 days. That means that there's a lot of buyer demand, and sellers are being resistive to dropping prices in the market right now. This means that we're going to continue to see prices hold steady unless there's major change in the stock market or in the economy or even just in the world. There's probably a very low likelihood that prices will see a drastic drop from this point. Everybody was saying, oh, prices will come down, interest rates are now high. That's not exactly what's happening, right? People are still purchasing homes, and they're just accepting and adjusting to these higher interest rates. And that's just the nature of the market that we're in. So whether that makes sense for you to buy or sell a property is going to be a largely personal decision. Yes, if you're financing a property today, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be something you have to account for. So you have to really just budget that and factor that into your own personal budget and see if it still makes sense for you. Maybe you've got a property you want to sell. Well, prices are still pretty good. Are you going to get absolute top dollar like you could have, maybe 2 years ago? No, probably not, but you're still going to get a very good price for that home if you're looking to sell. The other thing I want to take a look at here is again, just being this ratio and what this looks like over the past couple of months. Right now for March, we're at 98%. We're at 97, 97, 96, 97. You can see that this trend has basically stayed the same over the last couple of months, but home prices have increased just over the last few months, right? We're at 476 right here, 485, 495, and 498. So as we go into the spring months, we're going to see that average sales price increase. We're going to see more people move because it's the end of the school year. It's not snowing outside. It's not cold. And we're going to see more people continue to move, and that's going to put upward pressure on the market. So again, if you're a buyer in this market, just be prepared for that. If you're a seller in this market, now is the time to start thinking about selling your property. You probably want to list it maybe early April, maybe even into May, even June if you need a couple extra months to get prepared. But now is the time to start capitalizing on that market if you're a seller out there today. With that being said, guys, this kind of wraps up our sales report for the major metro market area. We just wanted to give you a quick overview of what's happening out there in the market. Again, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, please reach out to me. My information is here on the screen once more. I love hearing from you guys. Please reach out. I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. Before we go, make sure to subscribe to the channel, share this with a friend or a family member, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.